Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Konefke. I'm with the San Antonio Family Association, just one of the organizations in the Stop Planned Parenthood Coalition here in San Antonio. And we've put these videos together to give you an idea of what's taking place here in San Antonio relative to Planned Parenthood at 2140 Babcock. And we encourage you to listen to as many as you can and to address the City Council on December 9th and December 10th at the actual vote. You see, the city is putting up some new language that would amend the ambulatory surgery center currently that would allow ambulatory surgery centers, abortion facilities, for instance, to be built right next to neighborhoods. So we urge you to tell them no, vote no on the new redefined ambulatory surgery center. This topic is 2140 Babcock, just an overview. This particular video is just to give you the broad brush, if you will, to help you grasp what's going on and the timetable and what's taking place. I hold in my hands here a timetable of everything that's taken place all the way from January 1st, 2014, all the way to the current. And we have meticulously kept records up to date on what transpired. In August 8th, 2014 is when the city of San Antonio granted Delantero Investors Limited a permit to build the building at 2140 Babcock. And they had to wait their 60 days before they made it public, because if a neighbor had objected to that, then it would have ceased construction. And as I mentioned in another video, I showed the actual San Antonio Express News article that came out October 11th announcing their brand new facility. Well, we immediately got together with Ron Nurnberg, that's in his district, and his staff, Mr. Mays, along with John Jacks, the assistant city director, and Kat Hernandez, also with the DSD, and asked them why they think that zoning is appropriate here. And they claimed they'd get back with us within a couple of days. Well, they didn't, and we kept on, and Thanksgiving came around and those types of things. But we kept on pressing him in particular. On December 16th, 2014, we received this very benign email from John Jack's office without the city logo or anything that states this. The Development Services Department has reviewed the project, the proposed use, currently under construction at 2140 Babcock Road, and has found it to be in compliance with all applicable building and zoning regulations. That's it. It's good. So the city is taking a look at this and everything's copacetic. We were still concerned, but gosh, it didn't sound like there's anything we can do. Well, we were surprised, as you can imagine, that within 5 short days after that email came in, 5 short days, we now get an official stationery from Trenton Robertson, senior planner at the Development Services Department, in which he states, I'm not going to read the whole letter to you, but the pertinent area right here in the middle. He states, relative to 2140 Babcock, the use of professional office and laboratory testing are permitted uses in C1 base zoning district. C1 just means commercial 1, the lightest commercial. However, and this is where it gets sticky, cold storage, medical surgery facility, and hospitals are not permitted uses within C1 base zoning district. That's what I mean sticky. How can they say it's okay over here and literally within 5 days the same cities say it is not okay over here? And that is what created all this fight and this battle that we're up against. So we went to the matrix and we went to the UDC, that's the Unified Development Code, and we looked up C1, C2, C3 to get an idea. And some of the things that are very important in C1 is, for instance, the size of the building is limited to 5,000 square feet. Yet at 2140 Babcock, it's 21,300 square feet. And some other issues related to that. It would have been better for them to be in C2 or C3 because there's unlimited building size and things of this nature. But it goes deeper than that. It goes into the usage of that particular building. If you were to look at Google Earth and take a look at this, you can see here is the abortion facility right here, and here are the houses all around it. This is the residents of Dream Hill Estates. and that's why it's not appropriate. Yet another abortion facility just a half a mile from it is right here, and you can see that it has all the industrial and business around it, and it certainly is more appropriate. So we asked them, and the city says, well, it's a materially similar use decision. In other words, we cannot stick to just the objective truths and go into the UDC and look up abortion because it doesn't exist. So we have to take a look at what is it like. So they call that materially similar use. And in their example, in their training, they talk about enchiladas and tamales. And if you want to have a zoning like someone who makes enchiladas, but you want to do tamales, there's a certain process in which you go through to where zoning could be exactly the same. For one thing, you have the same ingredients, and for the second is, all you have to do is, if you're going to do tamales, is add enchiladas to your menu. And you would have a materially similar use for that building as the enchilada restaurant does. And even if they did do that and make that objective decision, then what they have to do is they have to take it through the zoning commission. So let's say that Rod Sanchez, the director of development services, says, okay, I made that subjective decision. It still has to go through the zoning commission on both scenarios, and it still would have to go through the city council, which in fact neither have taken place. So in essence, what you're seeing here is they are saying that materially similar uses of that building are the same as a eye surgery center, for instance, and abortion facility. Yet we all know that eye surgery, life is not on the line, and there's no blood, it's all tears. Yet we know that in the abortion facility, it's always blood spilled, it's always death for the baby, and bad health for the mom, potentially. So we thought that was very, very absurd. So what we did is we looked into how many ambulatory surgery centers in San Antonio are zoned C1. In fact, only 3. One is at the Santa Rosa facility there off Babcock. But it is an anomaly because it's 200 acres, so there's already a buffer between the hospital itself and any residents. So that's kind of an anomaly. Second is on South Cross Road, where the one suite is C1 and the other suite is C2. But suite C that has C1 is closed anyway, so that was another anomaly. There only remains one ambulatory surgery center in San Antonio in C1. What is that? That's 2140 Babcock, known better as Planned Parenthood. So the city went out and hired a third-party reviewer to see if this all makes sense and whether or not the city made a mistake, because when they heard us, they said we made a lot of sense. So they hired Mark White out of the city of Kansas City, who is an expert in municipal law and zoning in particular. However, he came back and his opinion was really not all that unbiased. You see, I talked to Mark, and Mark said, I'm really not looking for anything from the citizens. The city has given me everything I need. Not quite the unbiased opinion that you were hoping for. And he didn't ask for any information. I said, would you like to know what our thoughts are? He said, no, I'm fine with what I've discovered. So truly not in that discovery mode. He also indicated that he had been a co-author of the Unified Development Code from 1999 to 2001 right here in San Antonio. And he talked about how he loves San Antonio. It's one of his favorite towns, and he was hoping to get this done so that he can get hired for more jobs down the road. Well, 2 things struck me. Number one is, if you co-authored the Unified Development Code, it's highly unlikely that you're going to criticize your own work. The second is that if you write this opinion in favor of the city, then there's a potential that you're going to be hired for future work. Because if you didn't write it in favor of the city, then your chances of getting future work probably don't exist. In fact, we pulled up the contract that he signed, and this is how it reads. Conflict of interest. Consultant recognizes that it shall be disqualified from representing any other client with interest materially and directly adverse to the city. Bingo, he was not an unbiased opinion. Plus, he's not even licensed to practice law in the state of Texas, yet the opinion was written as if he can. So, where am I going with this? Well, in the city, there is every 5 years a outreach to the citizens to make zoning more user-friendly. And they call it the partnership with citizens, make it easy. So a resident in Dream Hill Estates, right next to the new Planned Parenthood, said, I know it won't help me, but if it saves some other person the agony, or some other neighborhood the agony that we've gone through here, I want to do that. So he proposed language that says, and reads, Amendment Table 311-2 to include ambulatory surgery centers as permitted use only in C2 and C3, trying to put an end to C1. Well, I'm sorry to say that the city of San Antonio took that language, pulled it out, turned it upside down 180 degrees and stuck it back in, and came up with this language. From this one sentence language to this. And I'm not going to read the whole thing to you because it's so convoluted, it's very difficult to even understand, much read it. But essentially what it says is that they're going to be able to put ambulatory surgery centers anywhere in the city of San Antonio to include C1 base zoning district. And that means my neighborhood, right next to your neighborhood. It's very concerning. So the whole idea here is that this redefined language is something that we must stop. So we encourage you to go down to the city chambers on December 9th at Citizens to be Heard, and then again on December 10th for the actual vote. It's the first time the City Council is going to be on record as far as voting for or against Planned Parenthood. You see, because a vote for the redefined ambulatory surgery center amendment I just showed you is indeed a vote for Planned Parenthood. So we want our City Council members and our mayor to vote no on the new amended language. Thank you.